Right, well, good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to you all for our team call. This is a once-a-month call that we do at the beginning of the month. This month, we're doing it a little bit later because of Easter, and so that we wanted to make sure that we could get this call in and then Easter, and then we've got our celebrity call coming up on the 24th of November, and we've got Carol Wilcox, so that's in 2 weeks' time. But tonight, we've got a very exciting call. And we're going to do a review of the previous month in a moment. Gordon's going to take us through that. And Gordon, I believe we've got some recognition to do. And I've got the people up here who got a really good number of customers. So Nicole, 11. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. Then we've got the latest news about the Omega product and also the Tower Garden. And then we've got the amazing Dan Furlong, who's going to be talking to us about the UAE and what's happening in the UAE. Then I'm going to talk about upcoming events. And if you've got any other upcoming events that you would like me to promote, if you put them on the chat bar, that would be great. And then we're going to talk a little bit about other promotions that are going on in the company, and particularly also the 825+1, or which is the 1001. On the continent, you know, with the euro. So that's our call. We're lasting about half an hour, but lots of great information and lots of excitement. So, so let's get cracked straight into it. So, Gordon, would you just like to talk to us about, what's been happening in the previous month, but also if you could just give us a bit of an overview to the fantastic training that you and Michelle were running yesterday at Buckinghamshire Golf Club.
Okay, so fantastic. Welcome, everybody, and good evening to you all. The last month was kind of very mixed month in terms of lots of things going on. One of the biggest highlights was the Amsterdam conference, which took place over in Amsterdam, funnily enough. And that was the European leg, if you like, or the first European leg following our UK conference. And that was attended by about 3,000 people. From different countries in Europe. So we had Saskia, I heard Saskia on the call earlier on, and I saw Mark on the call as well. They were over there from Luxembourg, and that was great. We had 62 people for our team dinner on this Saturday night, which was fantastic, and fantastic information. It was quite interesting to see that we had the same format as was used for the UK conference, and obviously different speakers there. And that seemed to be kind of really just the kind of, if you like, the blueprint that they seem to be using for the conferences now. And that worked extremely well and was well received within the actual conference itself. In terms of financial figures this month, we've had a fantastic month again. I mean, I did a quick rough count up. We're in between about 300 to 400 premium capsules every month. And when I say premium capsules, the thing about our particular business, James, is that we've got a repeatable business that isn't one-off. And as an organization, we have got probably one of the strongest kind of capsule businesses in Europe, I would have thought, in terms of those number of customers. So that was great. There was a number of people that made the hit parade in terms of outstanding figures, and I did post those up on Aquila. Just to mention a few: Nicole and Raf. As healthcare professionals, you would expect they would do a few. So they had 11 PCPs. Dan, I see on the call, and interestingly, Dan had 10 PCPs, but from 3 different countries, personal PCPs. So if you're thinking of reaching out in terms of social media and using the power of the internet, you can these days quite easily. And maybe we'll hear more from Dan how he actually got that. And there was a number of people doing 5, which is really, for me, that's the benchmark for a lot of people. Doing 5 PCPs every single month is a very solid business. And if you continue to do that over the course of 12 months, you will build up a superb business, especially if you duplicate that using the 825+1. So that's really a roundup. We had our team training, as you said, James, yesterday. There was 30 people there. We actually did a recording, or Marcel did a recording. So that's actually on the Aquila. And we only did 4 trainings, which gave people, kind of with 30, 40 minutes to actually run their training, which I think went down really well. And for anyone that is interested, we had some great trainings from Rachel. I see her on the call there. And she was very proficient in doing her PB and POB qualification, so much so that she went back home and Tori Davey went senior direct. So well done to you, Tori. That was fun. I hope that was to do with me giving you fantastic training on the reports. And how
of course.
Anyway, that's really a roundup, James, of last month. And Dan's training. Dan's training was fantastic. We also sat down as a team afterwards, and Dan shared some of his amazing things that he's got in terms of his social media and the groups, and we're hoping to roll that out ourselves very shortly for the whole of the Aquila group. And it was a really good. Dan actually also got people paired off to do a Facebook Live kind of presentation. And I see that some people have risen to the challenge and have done that already. So well done to you all. And that was fantastic. And there we go. So I'll pass back.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I mean, we're just going to be hearing in a moment from the wonderful Michelle. But I just wanted also, thank you, Gordon, very much indeed for that. But I just wanted to talk just also very quickly about the event that a few of us attended, or a number of us attended yesterday up in Coventry, which was run by Sinead Cavanaugh. And I've got to say that was an absolutely fascinating day. And she really went into a lot of detail. Gordon asked me today, he said to me, James, what was the number one takeaway that you really got from that? And I would say the number one takeaway that I got was being utterly authentic on Facebook in terms of who we are, and being clear about exactly the ideal customer that we are likely to appeal to. And that was very, very interesting for me. And, there were so many tips that we got, about the sales process. Obviously, we don't like to call it sales as such. And of course, it isn't really sharing, but we do need to understand that there is a process. So we explained to us that it's a 6-stage process in getting people in as a customer, which starts off with a conversation, and then with information given out, and then follow up, and then we bring people through. And they often, they said, look, people normally need a bit of a nudge. They need a bit of a nudge to say, look, what are you going to do? And we explain our story, say what we did, and that's more likely that people go, do you know what? I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll go for it. So that was absolutely fantastic. And interestingly enough, the Sinead Cavanaugh course has now become a 100-day challenge that people can do online. So a number of us are just starting with that. So we'll be able to tell you how that's going. And, I think it's what I find so exciting about this now is I think we're really getting to grips with social media in a massive way. And now everybody is beginning to make progress with it. Whereas before it was like, oh, it's something out there. But now everybody's really getting rolling with it. So that's very exciting. Good. All right. So now let's move on and let's go back to Windsor now. And if we could be hearing from the wonderful Michelle. And
I mentioned
yesterday, Michelle did a training
yesterday as well, actually.
Say again.
Michelle did a fantastic training yesterday.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
You looked absolutely amazing. I mean, honestly, you looked, I don't know what you were wearing, but you were wearing something incredible. It looked extraordinary on the picture. Anyway, tell us, Michelle, first of all, tell us a bit about the training, and then if you would tell us a little about the Omega and also the Tower Garden.
Okay. Yeah, yesterday was fantastic, and we changed the format a little bit, as Gordon said. So rather than getting in sort of 6 speakers or so and having sort of 20-minute slots, we gave 4 speakers, but with about 40 minutes each, and that seemed to work. There was a little bit more depth and content to each training, and Rachel and Dan just delivered fantastic. There were a couple of light bulb moments, just let's say that. And Dan did sort of set a challenge, and I did do a Facebook Live last night, Dan, on the Fit and Fab page. So we are actually sort of putting into place the things that we learned, which was really, really good. But the thing I am so excited to talk to you about are these. So this is the prototype, if you like, of the new Amigas. And I don't know if anybody's had a good look at them, but can you see that? I mean, this is incredible. This capsule is made from tapioca, and it's exactly the same size as our Juice Plus capsules. And it's even got the, it's sort of sealed, but it looks like you could pull it apart, exactly the same as our capsules. So the oil in that, can you see the oil moving? I don't know if that's close enough, but I mean, it's quite an unusual looking Amiga capsule. I've never seen anything quite like this. So I think that in itself is quite something. But in terms of what's in it, we've got algae, because what makes it really unique is that it's a complete plant-based Amiga, and it's got Amigas 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9, and all in the correct balance. It's made from algae, as well as pomegranate seed oil, sea buckthorn berry oil, and raspberry seed oil, safflower oil, and tomato seed oil. For anybody that really wants to go into a little bit more detail, you've got a total of omega-3, 375 milligrams, DHA, 175 milligrams, and EPA 100 milligrams. So that's quite important for people that are, certainly for the healthcare professionals. I know Liz would like to know the balance of that. And then the total omega 5 and 7 blend is 250 milligrams, and the total omega 6 and 9 blend is 300 milligrams. So I know that doesn't kind of necessarily mean anything to everybody, but for the healthcare professionals, they probably would want to know that information. So the exciting thing is we're trialing it at the moment, but if from oh bless you, sales coordinator and above, you get the chance to get this from sometime in the summer. They haven't actually released the date, but I'm sure on the 22nd of May the NMDs are going to a launch for the Amigas, and we'll be given more information. But certainly by the summer, sales coordinators and above will get theirs, and then it's going to be launched at Liverpool. So the 14th and 15th of October, everybody will be able to get them for themselves and order for their customers. And the fantastic thing about this for our business is it's a chance to completely double the size of your business, because really we need to go back to every single one of our capsule clients, our complete clients, and tell them about Amigas, because I think statistically it's one of the most popular supplements. A lot of people naturally take an Amiga supplement. So our existing customers will definitely, I would imagine that they'll go for it. I'd be very surprised if they didn't. And also there may be the opportunity to bring in new clients and customers. So, in terms of our business, we've got a massive new market, and I think we'll see a huge growth for everybody in their business.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. I think that's fascinating. I mean, I've got to say that very quickly, when Juice Plus was first launched, I know people go, oh my goodness, how can you remember that? But I do remember when Juice Plus was launched, and Gordon, you could probably remember that as well, when Juice Plus was launched. And I remember, people's checks were doubling, literally doubling, because of the arrival of Juice Plus as a product. So I think, as you were saying, Michelle, I think sometimes people don't grasp what the massive potential is to go back to our existing customers, but also to go back to everybody and anyone that we've been talking to with new information about the fact that we're launching a new product. And people go, what? And it's, I always say, someone said to me once very wisely, they said, you can always go back to anyone that has said no before with new information, and then they can say yes without losing face. So it's very interesting. So we can open up our whole new prospect list all over again and go back to people all over again. And we'd be surprised how many people would say yes, not least of which because their timing has changed.
Exactly.
They're ready. But thank you, Michelle. So let's go on now and talk a little bit about the Tower Garden. Now, I know that's even further away now, but now it really is on the radar, whereas before it wasn't. Now we've got a definite date, haven't we?
I'm not sure we've got a definite date. Do you know a date?
Yes, we have. We've got spring next year. The spring conference in the UK. It's going to be launched.
Fantastic.
2018.
Okay, I wasn't even sure of that. So I knew it was coming sometime next year, but I didn't know that the actual date had been announced. So it's still, I mean, we've obviously had the, a very exciting time in trialing that as well. And that is lovely to be able to grow your own produce. I think, again, it's another thing that's going to be added to our arsenal and will make a massive difference.
Yeah.
And I think, again, it will bring in a whole new crowd as well. I think that the thought of people being able to grow, perhaps people that don't have gardens, people in London that have got balconies, the opportunity that they can grow their own produce, I think is incredibly exciting.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. So, there's a lot happening with the company. And, I mean, I have to pinch myself sometimes to think, oh my God, how did we end up with such an incredible company, with such an incredible opportunity, that it's just so perfectly timed for this moment. It really is extraordinary. So thank you, Michelle. So let's now go.
Just to add to that, I mean, I think it's important to say, although it is coming and it's something to be excited about, I don't think we need to, it's not happening right now.
No.
So I think we need to keep our focus on what we're doing at the moment, keep the focus on the 825+1 and not kind of go off too much, especially on social media, because I think it dilutes the message until the product is actually available.
Yeah. No, well said. Well said. Good. All right. So now we're going to go over to Dan. And Dan, are you there?
Hey, James. How you doing?
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Look at that. So, you've been spending quite a lot of time over in the UAE, and I know that it sort of has a tiny bit of a bumpy start. A lot of countries do when they first get going, but the company always wins out in the end, and every country we've gone into has always end up being a roaring success. But tell us what's going on out there at the moment, and what are you most excited about in the UAE at the moment?
Okay, cool. No problems, and I'll definitely get to the UAE. But I just want to start with saying what an epic training day yesterday was. I think it was probably the best Buckinghamshire Golf Club day that I've been to, and I've been to them all. I never miss, and they keep getting better. And I see in the chat window and stuff, people asking about Sinead Cavanaugh this and that. And I'm going to be blunt here. The reality is, right, guys, if you're not even doing a DMO on social media or a DMO in your business, there's absolutely no point on going on any of these other trainings until you're doing your DMO. Because I know all of these girls, and what it all comes back to is consistency with a DMO. And I think we've got some fantastic training sources amongst us. I mean, what I learned yesterday, I had a breakthrough with Rachel's presentation. I had a breakthrough with Gordon's presentation and the reports. And then I had with Michelle's presentation, I've got a week's worth of social media content, just taking snippets from Michelle's presentation. So I appreciate if you don't live in the UK that you can't get to these training days, but if you're in the business and you live in the UK and you're not getting to Buckinghamshire Golf Club, the next one's going to be at Heathrow, then I think you need to seriously have a word with yourself and remember your reason why for doing this. And I think it's Jeff Roberti who says that you can make money in this business or you can make excuses, and you can't make both. And I just want to express my gratitude to Gordon and Michelle for putting that on yesterday, because today I've been rocking and rolling today, and it's been a great day. So just wanted to start with that. But yeah, James, in terms of Dubai, you're absolutely right. And I think it was Steve Jobs that said he was convinced that about half of what separates the successful entrepreneurs from the non-successful ones is perseverance. And I've had to massively persevere, as Gordon has, and as Bob has, and everybody else who's doing business in the UAE. We've had to persevere. We've rolled with the punches, and although it's had a negative effect on my short-term income and my short-term promotions, I believe in the long run the girls because I've only got the girls and guys who are sticking with me out there and rolling with the punches as well will go on to be really, really successful Juice Plus representatives in Dubai, because it hasn't been a smooth road. The company didn't really step up to the plate, but the good news is that it's getting sorted. It's getting sorted now. And if I can share my screen with you, I'm going to show you. Let me share my screen. Okay, one sec, James. I'm just going to try and share my screen with you guys so I can show you a couple of things. Cool. Cool. Can everybody see my screen, yeah?
Well, it's coming up now. Oh, yes.
Okay, cool. All right, excellent. So for everybody that doesn't know, Eric, I'm not even going to try and pronounce, maybe some of the Germans or Dutch on the call can help me out with his surname, but I'm not. Eric G, I call him. Big Eric.
Gottschalk.
And Eric's the CEO of Juice Plus Middle East, and he's a fantastic guy. Really, really, really good guy. He's had a lot on his shoulders, and he's had a lot to learn and a lot to deal with, as would anybody launching a new country. But he's very, very approachable. For a German, he's got a great sense of humour. He's very charismatic, and just get in touch with Eric, introduce yourself, and he will help you.
And which one is he in the picture there, Dan, for everyone?
Right, okay. Well, he's certainly not the one in the white. No, right. So the guy, not the guy next to Dan Holzman, the other Emirati guy next to Eric is on the end in the grey suit with the grey hair. Looks a bit like Gordon. And the Emirati guy, so the Arab guy next to him is Mohammed Al Suwaidi. And Mohammed is the local partner for Juice Plus in the Middle East. So he's an amazing guy himself. He's an ex-fighter pilot with the UAE military. So he looks a timid and quiet guy, but he's got the record in the UAE military for flying the most flights, which is incredible. He's a helicopter pilot as well, which is just, I think that's cool. And then obviously you've got the other guys there from the Direct Sales Association, and you've got Dan Holzman. So the reason I'm showing you this page is because this is the page where you keep up to date with what's going on in the UAE. So during the pre-launch phase, they had a Facebook group set up for the leaders and me that was involved with the pre-launch. But Eric is transitioning away from that group, and he's going to be running this page based on what Simon Bowler does here in the UK. So as I scroll up through the page, you'll start to see important pieces of information. And the first important thing that everybody needs to note down is that the company, so actually Juice Plus, are running opportunity events in Dubai on the 24th of April and the 8th of May. Now, they're going to be in a very good location, which is the Media Rotana, which is in an area called Tecom in Dubai, which is a good area. So it's not too far for everybody to travel to. And the other bit of good news about these events is that they're free entry as well. So even the low income earners in Dubai will be able to go because there's no cost. And at the event, someone will present the products, then someone will talk about the business and talk about how you get started as a distributor. And they will be asking leaders that are emerging from existing teams out there to get involved with the speaking. So that is on the 24th, and there's not a flyer for the one on the 8th yet, but I know that there is a identical event on May the 8th, so put that in your diary. Then the third event is the big event, which is on May the 20th, and this is why Eric is a top guy. We had Bob Burdick had a meeting with him. Bob and Sue Burdick had a meeting with Eric and said to Eric, I think you'd get a lot more out of the big events if you turned it into training and actually train people on the marketing plan, train people on how to get customers, and train people on how to put on events. And Eric listened to Bob, and that's also good advice, listening to Bob. And he's decided that they're going to run a massive training, and I'm sure social media will be covered on that as well. I'm really, really excited about that event. I think it will G everybody up massively, and it will take us into June, which is traditionally maybe a little bit a quieter month, and we can have a massive month in UAE in June, which will be absolutely epic.
And that's May the 20th.
Yeah, that's May the 20th. Cool. Then the next thing to know as well is that you recognition at May the 20th event, people will be recognised as well for their promotions. So, and they're also recognised here on Eric's page, just like Simon does in the UK. So keep an eye on your team. Make sure that they know that they're going to get recognised on social media. Just use it as an incentive for them. A couple of other key important issues. The Juice Plus Middle East shop. I don't know, has my Zoom changed to the shop?
Yeah. Dan, whilst we go through this, would you be able to copy and paste the links into the chat box?
Yeah.
So everybody's got these, so everybody can copy these as well.
Okay, yeah, I'll do it after I finished just talking people through it, yeah?
Yeah, that's great. But the only thing is we must do it before the end of the call, because when we end the call, we'll lose all the chat.
Yeah, I'll do it as soon as I've only got a couple. I'll do it in a minute.
Yeah, well done, thanks.
Cool. So just, I'm sure everybody is clear, but there's a problem with the payment gateway in the Middle East. So they had to create this online shop. So the online shop is juiceplusmiddleeast.com, and it's here that you place your customer orders, and then it will take you through to a payment gateway, which is very similar to PayPal. The only difference is that the customer doesn't have to sign up for an account. But the important thing to note is that, yes, they can do installments, but when they hit month 2, they've got to go back on and pay their second month installment. Really, really crucial. So I've got to spend tomorrow following up with all of the customers in my business to make sure that they're logging back on to pay their second installment. So it's not taking the second installment automatically. So keep an eye on your own business to make sure your own pay line doesn't suffer by getting your customers to log on and do the second installment.
But Dan, from there on, it will, from the 3rd, 4th and onwards, it will just automatically take it.
No, that's what I'm just saying. You've got to, until I pushed Eric today to try and get an answer about the payment gateway, and nothing come back. I never always get your upline to fight your battles. So I'm going to get Gordon to send Sven an email to get more information on that. But there's still no news on the payment gateway, which is a bit of a ball ache, but we've got to do it this way. And then I think the only other, is there anything else with the UAE that's important to note?
You maybe want to mention, Dan, that, I mean, it's quite unique that you can actually go and pick up your product from the UAE office.
Yeah.
It was a big plus for a lot of people, and being able to do that. And they also have an arrangement with DHL that you can do a COD delivery where you can pay cash on delivery.
Yeah, that's it. And I think that the other big challenge that we face in the UAE is that DHL are actually calling the customers to deliver the product, and then the customers are not answering the phone. So letting people know that they can go to the office to collect it and pay whatever they need to pay is a good thing. I'm going to give you an email address of someone. I find Kenneth in the office very, very helpful. He's very efficient as well.
You posting that on the chat?
Yeah, I'll post that on the chat. But Kenneth is really good with anything to do with customer service. So if you've got any customer service issues, get in touch with Kenneth. Apart from that, I think that's pretty much it. I'm hoping to be out there in May. I'm probably not going to go out in April, but I'm hoping to get out there for May. So I'll be putting on my own events as well as well as the company ones, and anyone is welcome to send their people along and get involved. So I'm going to stop there, James, and I'll start posting in the chat now.
Well, you are awesome.
Just
well
say
done. That is absolutely fantastic.
Sorry, Michelle.
Sorry, I was just going to say, Dan, perhaps you'd put those links on the Aquila page as well. I think that might be quite handy.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, Michelle.
You don't get it on the chat.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so all right. So thank you, Dan. And obviously, you know, when you're a pioneer, you have to take the rough with the smooth when you first start. As we were in the UK years ago, we, you know, battled away with things, and things were like very, very topsy-turvy, but we just battled away, and then, you know, the results came, and it's very much the last man, last woman standing is the one who takes the prize. So, you know, to be honest with you, I find it very exciting. So sometimes for me, the more difficult it is, the more exciting I get, the more excited I get. Anyway, Dan, thank you very much indeed. So really for the UK, our business in the UK, by comparison, is a dream, isn't it? So, you know, everything's working, and obviously we've got still massive potential in the UK, and I think we're gearing up now for something enormous, because if we look in Amsterdam, and we saw what was going on in Amsterdam, Gordon, if you remember what we saw over there, we saw an extraordinary demographic of men and women, equal numbers, being excited about our business, whereas over here it's still predominantly women. So we can make a big shift to have a lot more men involved, and it'll expand our business even more. So before I just go back to Gordon and just talk about the 825+1, I want to just quickly talk about some of the events that we've got coming up. And Dan, I'm going to bring you on in a moment to ask you about your event, which is coming up on the 25th. But anyway, what the situation we've got now is that we've got a lot more events coming back on stream again. We've had a period where there weren't so many events, but now we've got a lot more events. And so in terms of the biggies, and I'm just going to talk about London first of all, we've got a lot happening in London now. So we've got our own events at the Millennium. So our next one at the Millennium is going to be on the 27th of April, Millennium Hotel in Knightsbridge. And we've got a super guest speaker there on that date. So that's going to be very good. A recent NMD, the last NMD to go in the UK. She's going to be our guest speaker. So that will be really exciting. Then, Dan, 2 days before that, we've got your event in Whitechapel. And this is really exciting, I think, because you're supplanting an event that you've been running in Dubai to London. So could you tell us a little bit about that? Yeah,
so it's in Aldgate East, so not Whitechapel. It's literally 200 metres walk from Aldgate East Tube Station at the Dispensary pub, and we've got a beautiful old-fashioned English dining room in this pub, which is beautiful little location. And I'm teaming up with pretty much the only sideline I ever work with, and that's Charlotte Lottie Bryan and Daniele from Harley Street. He's going to be there as well to speak. So we're getting Daniele involved, and we've got a couple of hosts as well. So pretty much we've got 2 or 3 teams involved, which means that it's going to be a good turnout. We're going to really focus on telling stories, because I've done a recent bit of personal development with learning how to talk like TED, and Warren Buffett said that the modern day entrepreneur needs to become an amazing storyteller and needs to tell stories to grow their business. So me and Charlotte have had a good chat, and we're going we're going to make it very, very story orientated, and it should be an epic evening. So it's going to start at 8 p.m. and obviously, hopefully, probably go on late into the evening.
Great, Dan. Well, that is amazing. And what I absolutely love about what's going on at the moment is the creativity of the events. You know, everybody's deciding, right, we're going to do something which is perfect for everyone, and creating more buzz and energy, excitement. And, you know, it's just wonderful. Rather than just running the same old thing over and over again, everybody's like, how can we engage more with people? So I absolutely love that. So well done. So that's going to be an absolutely great one. And that will be an incredibly exciting event to see. I mean, I'm obviously going to be there, and I would recommend that absolutely everyone get there, because this is going to be incredible. Then 2 days later, on the 27th of April, we've got our Millennium event. Now, that is hugely successful. It does follow a slightly more formulaic approach. You know, we use the slides from the corporate tour, but it just really, really works. So we normally get 50, 60 people there. Again, lots of stories, and that's a superb one. So in a sense, we've got one on the east of London on the 25th, one on the west on the 27th. But also, we've got the fantastic events of the Playboy Club. So these are events which are put on by Lucy Davis in London, and I've been to both of them. The previous ones, I've got to say, the Playboy Club is quite an interesting venue to go to. But the energy and the excitement of what's going on at those events is fantastic. So to my mind, we have an amazing opportunity to start really, really sponsoring lots and lots of people, because we've got so many events going on. So then on the 11th of June, we've got going to be having big training in Gatwick with Jeff Montague-Smith and his team, and obviously with a number of other people. So that will be amazing. Gordon, have you heard any more about that?
No, I haven't yet. I think Jeff is in Canada at the moment, so when he returns, we'll kind of get started to get hotting up in terms of that, and we'll be able to produce a flyer and get that out to everybody. Okay.
So the next, now, interestingly enough, Jeff's going to be our guest speaker at the Millennium on May the 25th.
Okay.
So that will be amazing. And then 9 days before that, we're going to be at the Playboy Club on May the 16th, on a Tuesday. So, you know, so there's a lot happening. And I think I can feel actually that we're getting back into the big growth phase that we had sort of 2013, 14, 15, when we had a whole lot of events. And then we've got a big event on May the 6th down in Bournemouth, which I'm going to be speaking at with John Holowati, Emma Snedden. You know, so that's one to watch out for. And I'll post that flyer on Aquila tonight. Yeah, so that's about it, really. So let's just finish off now, Gordon, if you just could talk just a little bit about the significance of the 825+1. We don't necessarily have to talk about the big incentives, but the significance of building your business focused on 825+1 or the 1001.
I mean, James, I think we talked about this, or it was talked about certainly when Millie Jarvis Stringer was on the call last month, and how that she moved her business from what was a 12 club to 75 club by basically focusing in on the fact that everyone in her organisation started to develop an 825+1, where they brought in one new person every month and actually had 4 to 5 customers themselves every month. And, you know, if you think about it, if you duplicate that over a 6 to 9 to 12 month period, you'll build potentially an NMD business in that kind of period of time. And, you know, being able to focus in on the 825+1, you're bringing in not only just customers into your organization, but you're bringing in new people into your organization. It's what Millie said, that, you know, from her customers, she found that she was getting people coming in as distributors. So it's a wealth of, if you like, talent that you can actually bring into the pipeline, which is going to develop your business. And, you know, certainly for everybody that says, oh, I've exhausted my kind of, you know, contact list, I don't think you have. You know, we can start all over again. And as you quite rightly said, you know, going back to people once again with a different message and, you know, telling them that this is something new is a great excuse to start to do that and develop that. So 825 is something that we're very keen on. You know, we've got an incentive for our own people. So in April, May, June, and July. If people do that, then there's an incentive going on, and we'll repost that again in Aquila so that people can see exactly what's going on there.
Good. Well, fantastic. Thank you. Well, look, we're a little bit over time, but I mean, we've had a fantastic call, and I've just found it amazing. I mean, I've written loads and loads of notes. And I just wanted to finish off just very quickly. We've got a team day at the office on Thursday, this coming Thursday. Now, I know it's very short notice, but if you would like to come, we can get you in. I'm submitting the final list tonight, tomorrow morning, but it's an amazing day. And it runs from 9:30 till 5, and basically we're in the office and they sit round with us and they like brainstorm with us about how to build our businesses. And it's just absolutely incredible how many times or how many companies would give you an opportunity to come into them and to literally, you know, be brought into an absolute focus to be helped to see how you can really build your business. So if you'd like to come on that, we've got a couple of places left. If you would then Facebook message me after this call, and I will get you on that. So that will be absolutely incredible. So, all right, everyone. So thank you very much indeed. We've got everything to play for. You know, we've got really the world at our feet in terms of an opportunity. And it's up to us what we do with it. So, you know, we can't wait to applaud so many people in the team moving up through the positions, and we can begin to see that this is happening. So it's not going to be long before, you know, we're going to have a lot more people up at the higher positions. And of course, our dream is to applaud absolutely everyone walking across the stage in Liverpool at your next position. Just imagine that, everybody applauding you. It's such an exhilarating feeling to have all of these people standing up and applauding you. And I think that's what each of us deserve. So let's go for it. So thank you everyone very, very much indeed for joining us tonight. And we look forward to seeing you soon. And do please message me back if you'd like to come on the team day at the Juice Plus office in Maidenhead this coming Thursday. Okay, good night everyone. Take care.
Good night.
Bye.
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 Bye.